Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 2 of the 25-26 Slater and Gordon Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, alongside Lucas Veza O'Brien for what should be a fascinating fixture between Manchester United and Norwich City. Let's go through the squads very quickly before we bring you the action live. Manchester United have Josh Slack, Laura Evans, David D, Sam Taylor and Shannon Smith. And Norwich City coming off the back of a 1-0 win over Hull and East Yorkshire have Jacob Edwards, Mike Coleman, Johan George, Tom Bennett, Hannah Murgatroyd and Jack Fulcher. Just quickly, I'll bring up the live league standings so you can see what a potential 3 points would do for both of these teams. Norwich City sitting on 15. A win here would take them top of the table with 18. So if ever you need an incentive, that is absolutely it. Manchester United with a win could go up to 14 points, so they could sit one behind Norwich City. I think it's fair to say that Manchester United have had a harder run-in than that of today's opponents. They've come off the back of a 0-0 draw with Teesside Steel. Lucas, how are you?
I'm okay, Ryan. I'm hoping for a good game today. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm hoping for a good game as well. I think, as we've said, the incentive, the prize is so great that I hope that means that both of these two will really attack this game and look for the win.
These two teams are really not shy of goals in most of their games. They have scored, except the Teesside game today, where obviously United was to a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, I mean, I commentated on Norwich City's victory over Hull and East Yorkshire earlier, and it wasn't the best of games from an entertainment point of view. It was professional, it was productive for Norwich City. They got the job done, but Hull and East Yorkshire sat back. They kept it compact, which really affected those passing lanes, where Norwich City succeeded in Game Week 1. However, this one, Manchester United will be attacking this game, so it may facilitate a really exciting open game of football. Alan Murray, our central referee, complemented by Paul Yates and Graham Mulgrew. We get the thumbs up from Hannah Murgatroyd, we get the thumbs up from Laura Evans, and we are underway here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. David D with a miss hit straight away. So to go through the squads in their entirety, Laura Evans, David D, Sam Taylor and Shannon Smith for Manchester United, Hannah Murgatroyd, Mike Coleman, Johan George and Jacob Edwards for Norwich City, trying to get the passing going. Already you can feel the pace, the intensity as Sam Taylor looks to switch the play. Shannon Smith has to back off a little bit. It's good angling from Johan George. Frantic start to this game. Over to Sam Taylor. He has a sight, a goal. Would have liked to see him just be a little bit more selfish, a little bit more clinical in connecting with that ball, because I think there was an opening there to capitalise.
I can see a lot of goals happening in this game.
Yeah, I hope that is the case, as David D just tries to sneak it in that right-hand post. There's questions as to where Josh Slack is. I can confirm he's on the bench, which I agree is an interesting decision. Josh Slack, arguably their best player, but then there's question marks over Norwich City's starting lineup, the form that Tom Bennett's in. You question why he isn't featuring from the start. That's what's so fascinating about this division. So many narratives, storylines, player arcs that we're trying to keep a hold of. But an opportunity for Manchester United. Sam Taylor to take. David D, the closest option, will maybe feint to engage it with his front bumper. I suspect that Shannon Smith will be the intended recipient. That's what he tries to do, but doesn't have the power nor accuracy to go past Mike Coleman. Flicked to Sam Taylor in the centre. Exchanges some passes with David D. Just not quick enough. Little bit disorganised. Little bit manic this opening few minutes. I've just come off the back of Altrincham versus Teesside, where there was 3 goals and a red card in the first 5 minutes. What a division this is. Hannah Murgatroyd. She did connect with it, so Sam Taylor straight in and engaging that ball.
I know this will be a United corner, I believe. They will be hoping to do a better corner than last time.
Yeah, I agree. Sam Taylor to take David D side on this time. So it's either going for goal himself or him just using the angle of his chair to put it over to Shannon Smith, which is the intended action. But too much pace. And it goes out for a Norwich City goal kick.
Now it's a Norwich goal kick here. Hopefully they will try to lose the pressure, but David D hits it to Sam Taylor.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Obviously Sam Taylor staying in reverse, but on that occasion he just needed to push it forward with his front bumper. It was never going to go towards goal because of the angling, because of the intention and the rotation of his chair. They'll be frustrated with that. Hannah Murgatroyd's had several issues with her foot plate, I believe, so hopefully that's properly addressed now. Manchester United knocking on the door here, Lucas.
Yeah, it was a mistake by Hannah. Hopefully she can pick them some pieces, but now Norwich have won a set piece. Hopefully relieving pressure from their own half.
Yeah.
Coleman to take.
Got Johan George presenting as the closest option. It's very compact. Yeah, it's a nice little feint from the Norwich City, number 11. As David D just tries to work his way round.
I think we will see this a lot in this game. Just David D locking it up.
This is where Norwich City are going to have to take their chances. I think it's a fair assessment that Manchester United will have a lot of the possession, but Norwich City will get some set pieces, will gain some territory up the court. It's just capitalising, making it count. Johan George. It's probably Johan George, Jacob Edwards. That's probably the intention, which it is, but that's disappointing. And Sam Taylor swipes at it, doesn't get the accuracy. Again, he needed to either go far left to Shannon Smith or towards goal. He went straight in between the two. It's a good battle, won by Mike Coleman. Just drives in front of the ball to restrict the options for David D.
No, Coleman just working his way into the box. Evans and D trying to lock up the ball. But Coleman does it well to get it out now. Trying to look for the flick, but he's just unable to. Working his way into the box.
A little bit of contact there, closely watched by Alan Murray. We've seen penalties given for similar ball trappings and overzealous challenges. But this is a good battle. Mike Coleman gets past David D, who shouts towards Laura Evans to drive forward and take responsibility. Again, heavy trapping of the ball.
I mean, nearly released it. But Evans will be looking to break away now.
Yeah, 2-on-1 in favour of Manchester United. Good work from Laura Evans. She was voted the Swizzles Unsung Hero of Game Week 1. She's a fantastic player, and I think her addition to this squad will make all the difference. Not quite sure if they'll have what it takes to really challenge at the top towards those automatic promotion spots. Maybe a playoff position based on what I've seen in Game Week 1 and the early fixtures in Game Week 2, but give this squad a season under their belt together. There's no telling what they can do. But I'm a huge fan of them and their game, one of my favourite teams to watch in the division. Ricochets and falls kindly to David Dees, very close to Sam Taylor. Shannon Smith very alert to switch wings. Very switched on Manchester United, very good at their positional play and 2-on-1 discipline.
Will be looking to flick out now if he can. He's got the ball out, but just unable to connect with it.
David D patiently working away in that top left-hand corner, playing off the side of Mike Coleman just enough to generate some space to either have a go on goal or look for Sam Taylor on the edge. Now Shannon Smith the option. Sam Taylor on the far side just doesn't have that final connection. That's really been letting Manchester United down in this game.
I've Coleman driving up the pitch. He had Edwards on the wing, and he gives it to him. Goes for the shot, blocked by the experienced Evans.
David D pushes it to Shannon Smith. Mike Coleman doing a brilliant job just to fragment those passing lanes.
This is the main battle of the game, this. Well evacuated the space for Edwards there.
Nearly 10 minutes played, nothing to separate these two sides. Manchester United with a more attacking intent, but nothing that's troubled Hannah Murgatroyd a great deal. The challenge for those attacking wide players of Manchester United is to maintain concentration, ensure their chairs are positioned in the most optimum way to capitalise on breakaways. And these are the instances where I want to see Norwich City have success. And this is interesting because I commented earlier how good Hannah Murgatroyd was at dead balls. She was laser focused, pinpoint accuracy, the power, the precision. So I don't understand why she wouldn't be utilised here. Mike Coleman more than comfortable dropping back as the most defensive, but I'd say from a dead ball, Hannah Murgatroyd is better. Happy to be proved wrong here, but on that occasion just fired off Laura Evans' chair. Nothing to really trouble the Manchester United goalkeeper. And that is what I'm referring to. She can't move due to the placement of Shannon Smith. Ricochets kindly to Jacob Edwards. Shannon Smith has to drop off quickly as Laura Evans just forces it past Mike Coleman. So goalkeeper versus goalkeeper.
Unable to get through, but with the team kicking in a very dangerous area. Taylor to take. Can he do anything from this?
We shall see. There's no real structure, whereas David D is acting as that screen in that gap. He just vacates the space. Shannon Smith the option, but that option closed off by a very stubborn Norwich City wall. I think this game's just crying out for a real bit of quality. Sam Taylor saw an opening, needed a readjustment from Hannah Murgatroyd.
Coleman takes it up the pitch was met by D. Followed nicely to Joe George.
I think Manchester United clearly the more intent on taking this game to Norwich, and I wonder if that will play into their mindset. The more the game goes on, the more frustrated they'll get by this stubborn Norwich defence. Then will we see the Canaries come into their own, maybe get a breakaway goal and then just sit back on that. We wanted goals, Lucas, but it wouldn't surprise me if just one separates these come the conclusion, if any.
It's like a game of chess. Each move is cancelling each other out.
Yeah, absolutely.
No kicking, but for Norwich.
To be taken by Johan George.
Will be placed into Mark Coleman.
Shannon Smith connects with it. Just took a ricochet off Hannah Murgatroyd's very intentional angling of her chair to ensure that it goes out of danger and not into the path of an oncoming Manchester United player. David D, once again, met by Hannah Murgatroyd. Flick to Sam Taylor. Very cagey in this final third.
We'll try to get it out to David.
Very strange decision, not just from Sam Taylor, but Jacob Edwards as well. Sam Taylor putting his hand up to apologise. There's no real need to engage it in that fashion. It was never going to go anywhere but deep into his own half. And Jacob Edwards, as we said, doesn't have the alertness, the readiness to capitalise because he never expected the ball to come his way. And that's almost sometimes what separates the good wingers from the great wingers. Even when there is no line of the ball, they're ready, they're anticipating. Because the pace of this sport is so great. What can turn into a long spell of defence in a split second can be a promising attack. As Shannon Smith looking for David D, the right intent, but Johan George actually did so brilliantly against Hull and East Yorkshire there to cut out. So David D to take.
Try to give it a shadow, but Johan George wasn't there to intercept. No kicking for Norwich.
Johan George into the dribble of Mike Coleman. It's definitely been a shift in Norwich compared to game week 1. We saw them be really expansive, really brave in their attacking play in their first 4 or 5 fixtures, but they've kind of resorted back to the familiar identity, locking it up in the dribble, defensive stability. So this isn't necessarily playing out as we would have hoped, but with so much on the line, both teams chasing promotion, you can understand their hesitance to risk anything a great deal.
Kicking for United here. Johan George will look to intercept as Evans sends it down the line. Coleman with a shot, but an easy save by Laura Evans.
Yeah, constantly communicating with David D. It's a partnership that's very new. Both of them signed for Manchester United in the off-season. David D from then Sale United, and Laura Evans from now West Bromwich Albion Baggies. So it almost needs a little bit of a grace period to really fine-tune their chemistry, but the player profiles, the technical ability of them, that has the potential to be a division-leading central pairing. And this, a good opportunity for Norwich City to be taken by Johan George. Look how stubborn that wall is of Manchester United. It goes back to Hannah Murgatroyd into the 180. Beautiful switch of play to Jacob Edwards, who just wasn't ready to capitalise. It was textbook in terms of how they were going to engage it. It was always going to go out to Jacob Edwards, but he wasn't there. He wasn't ready. Had that been Tom Bennett, I think it would have yielded far more success.
2-1 free kick for United now.
Going to go over at the half-time break just to understand the intention of leaving Josh Slack out. I think it's calling out for a player of his quality. Likewise, Tom Bennett to feature. Mike Coleman looking to flick it over to Johan George, but David D well aware.
Looking for the flick out there, he got that Coleman did. However, it was unfortunate.
Just off the back of David D. Just had Mason Davies in my eye line. Shannon Smith. Final minute of this first half.
Now, kicking for United. They could make something of this.
Shannon Smith to take. Sam Taylor in a lot of space on that alternate wing. Maybe they just didn't have the confidence in their ability to locate him. Just doesn't have the power, doesn't have the precision. And as I mentioned earlier, just waiting for some quality. The final ball, the passing hasn't really been there for either of these two. As we approach a half-time break, Johan George just forces his way round. Looks as if Mike Coleman was going to just play it off the defence into the path of Johan George. Strikes, but was never going to go through the chair of Laura Evans. That's a strong battle with Shannon Smith as we tick over into additional time.
Now Johan George to dribble it up the pitch, but a stubborn David D is in the way. But he gets past once. Now we'll be looking to flick out.
To Mike Coleman. 2-on-1 in favour of Manchester United. And surely beyond this, we will have the half-time break. And you have to say, I don't think either of these two are good value for 3 points. They're going to have to show us something in the second half that deems them worthy of taking the win. Over to Sam Taylor, just trying to get it up the court. Now a minute over the regulation 20. Tense battle between these two. Can Sam Taylor spearhead a very late attack? He'll do well to get past Mike Coleman as the ball's flicked out for a Norwich City ball. Johan George to take. Adam Murray takes a glance at his watch. I suspect the last real involvement. Whistle in the mouth. And that will signal the end of the first half. Tense, cagey, nothing to separate them to the two at the break. It's Manchester United 0, Norwich City 0. Hello everyone and welcome back to the second half of this fixture between Manchester United and Norwich City in game week 2 of the 25-26 Slater and Gordon Championship. My name is Ryan Sipple, joined once again by Lucas Veza O'Brien. Give me your assessments from that first 20 minutes.
A very encouraging affair. Nothing to separate the two teams. If something comes, I think it will come from a set piece.
A change we was calling for, certainly from a Manchester United perspective. Josh Slack on in place of Shannon Smith. Will that turn the tide? We will soon see. Change for Norwich City as well. Jack Fulcher on in place of Jacob Edwards. We'll get confirmation of those on your screen at the resumption of the game, which happens to be just seconds after I said it. So we are back underway. Josh Slack straight into the thick of things, trying to condense that defence. A 2-on-1 surely.
He won them a kicking, which could be their first goal if they are very accurate and powerful enough.
Doesn't find a way through, but does fire out for a Manchester United corner ball. First, certainly, of this second half. It's going to be taken by Sam Taylor. Can he locate one of his teammates? Josh Slack, surely the option here. David D too close to Mike Coleman to generate anything meaningful.
Kicking for United here, which will allow them to keep the pressure on. You can tell just Slack has come on.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. Anyone that listens to my podcast will probably have listened to the Championship predictions episode that I did, and I tipped him to be one of the standout players of the entire division. Come the conclusion, I rate him that highly alongside David D, as it nearly finds its way over the line, but off of Mike Coleman for another corner ball. Yeah, he's so versatile, Josh, and in years gone by he's been used more conservatively as a goalkeeper, but the shackles are off in 25-26. So some really positive contributions in game week 1. No doubt he'll be wanting to get on the score sheet here. Again, this is a bit disappointing. They're kind of drawn to the same ball. Josh Slack having to come more forward than he would have wanted. And David D not quick enough in vacating the space.
So this will result in Norwich City kicking on. Slack just missed the full hit, which will allow Fulcher to take the ball up the pitch and get into the United box.
Yeah, curse of the commentator, Lucas. We're talking about the quality of Josh Slack, and he just overcommitted there. And that moment of hesitation, that slight mistake, turned what was a defence into, an attack into an immediate defence. Jack Fulcher was there to just guide it up the court, did his job. And due to the locked nature of that ball, a set ball will resume play. It'll be contested between David D and Jack Fulcher.
David D came out the better of that. Now pass to Slack. Back to D, but George was there.
When there's that rotation of central player, it's shift between David D and Josh Slack, they just lose their shape slightly. There was as they view the attacking goal, right side heavy on that occasion, the left is you're viewing it. There was no presence on this alternate wing. There's no clear lines of sight for David D. Both of his teammates are shielded behind yellow shirts. So this may be slightly forced and will almost certainly lead to an interception. Slightly more space now, as suspected. Swept up by Norwich City.
A kick in, take a pass to Taylor. Back to D. D tried to get it over to Slack. Just unable to.
Yeah, just needed that little bit of snap in his final pass. 1-0 to Nottinghamshire against their close rivals Nottingham Forest on court to be. I wonder when the last time them two played each other in the National League, if ever. Have to find out if this is their first ever meeting. Johan George ricochets to Hannah Murgatroyd, who is reluctant to swipe at that. Probably sensible due to the placement of Josh Slack. David D hasn't been able to get that connection. Last season's Young Player of the Year with Sale United. Don't think it's unfair to say that he has far more quality than what he's exhibited in this game, but that same statement can be applied to all 8 players on the court. Everything feels a little bit forced, a little bit telegraphed. So they're just seeming to cancel each other out.
Dino with another kicking will be going up the line for just luck.
Hannah Murgatroyd doesn't need to engage that. She's happy to let that roll out of danger once she had ensured that it was clear of her left-hand post. So Hannah Murgatroyd to take. 26 minutes played. Josh Slack intercepts. An audacious effort. Never really had the angle to even be on target. They're looking to pen Norwich City back here.
If they keep them in their own half, they're not conceding.
No, I don't disagree, but it's just, it never really looks like they're going to create the space to really trouble Hannah Murgatroyd. It's all very well covered and marshalled, mainly by Mike Coleman, as shown there.
As George breaks up the pitch.
I think we had a discussion before going live for this game. It was either going to be a real high scoring game or it was going to be 0-0. I don't think there was ever going to be an in-between, like a 2-1 or a 1-0.
Picks out Joanne George.
Where Evans engaged and involved for the first time in this second half. But despite the possession, despite the attacking territory that United have managed to get, they have done nothing in way of clear goal-scoring opportunities. Can Norwich City, arguably against the run of play, upset United here? Joanne George with a set piece. It's going to need more quality than we had in the first half. Jack Fulcher, a nice option at that back post. Fires his way through, blocked on the line by Laura Evans. That's better from Norwich City. Good positioning, good timing and connection from Jack Fulcher, but the save to match. Just trying to understand, I think there may be a penalty kick for Norwich City here. And that is exactly what has been awarded. Laura Evans, too aggressive, trying to clear the ball. And Norwich City, Lucas, against the run of play, have the opportunity to go 1-0 up. Hannah Murgatroyd to take. I said in the first half how good she is at set balls and dead balls, and she makes no mistake in dispatching past the alternate goalkeeper.
Lovely strike from Murgatroyd. Nothing really Evans could do about it.
No, she'll protest the penalty being awarded in the first place, but Norwich City brilliantly taking the lead after being on the receiving end of a lot of attacking pressure. And if we thought it was compact before, Lucas, I suspect they're going to shut up shop now, and this could be a really frustrating end 11 minutes for Manchester United. They're going to have to find quality, consistency, space that they haven't been able to in the 29.5 minutes we've played.
You can already see it. Coleman locking it up in the dribble.
Yeah, that's what he does so well. It's almost a trademark to his game. And you have to say, in terms of game plans, Lucas, Norwich have absolutely nailed it here.
Yep.
Completely nullified the quality of Manchester United, and they have tremendous quality. They've got their goal. I think they would have been happy with 1 point and the 0-0 draw, but now they've got something even greater. This does put them back top of the table.
Like they say, Ryan, it's not a game of stats, it's a game of goals.
Exactly. All we need to see is that end outcome, that final score. And Norwich City have another fantastic opportunity here.
Coleman,
as the post is just shifted out of the way. It's hard for us to comment on contact on the far side because we're pitch side, the alternate end, so we can't really see if it was a fair penalty or not. We'll have to assume that it was judged right by Alan Murray. As it's just ricochets towards Mike Coleman. The strong play from Shannon Smith. Doesn't move an inch. Again, that positional discipline lacking slightly as Mike Coleman forces it up the court, falls kindly to his left-hand side.
Norwich are being very much more attacking than I expected.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. I thought they would just be happy to keep it compact, allow Mike Coleman to frustrate. But they're not sitting on this 1-0 lead, are they? They're looking to inflict further damage.
As Murgatroyd, like you said earlier, she's taking us to pieces now as she's about to take this corner.
She's the best dead ball specialist in the team. Of that, I have no doubt.
Let's see if something can come of this.
Beautifully
Powerchair.
over to Jack Fulcher. And that is what I'm referring to. Every time she has responsibility, she seems to pick out a yellow shirt. Not just that, but it always tends to be the further option, which is even more encouraging.
Now it's a free kick for United. Hoping to get back into the Norwich half. Today, Coleman intercepts. Locks it up in the dribble. We'll be looking to find Johan George.
There is not long left. Under 7 minutes. Can Manchester United find something? They first have to break this very brave press.
Well kept in there by David D.
David D deemed too aggressive, which he's not overly happy about.
Johan George just over this free kick now. Looking to get out of their half.
Josh Slack hasn't been able to impart his influence, has he?
No.
Strong shouts from Pete Taylor. On the sideline, appeals for a penalty. Graham Mulgrew shook his head. I think this may be a penalty. We had one down one end. They're going to be consistent with it. locked in conversation, which is what we want to see. Deemed too aggressive from Hannah Murgatroyd. So Norwich City got their goal against the run of play. Since then, they've been in the ascendancy, and now Manchester United against the run of play in the exact same fashion have the opportunity to level the score via a penalty. Josh Slack will be the taker. Hannah Murgatroyd will be the player responsible in trying to prevent it. He's shaping up to go to the right-hand side, and that is what he does. Good response from Manchester United. And Lucas, we have a game on in the final 5 minutes. This is when I want to see both teams really going for it. 1-1.
No team will be able to sit back now. So I can sense a winner coming.
I hope so. I really hope so. I think both will take confidence from their attacking passages of play.
As Coleman gets it underway again. Just battling with David D and gets it further up the pitch. United won't want to give us a piece away because they know how deadly Hannah Murgatroyd is.
I agree completely. Nora has to be considerate of her placement here. Josh Slack in a lot of space, but Mike Coleman is primed to engage it. Calls for a 2-on-1. Shannon Smith guides it goal bound. Needs Hannah Murgatroyd to be alert. Big Taylor shouting for her to take her time. And Manchester United have taken confidence from that. They are knocking on the door. Time is not on their side, however. One thing I do like is with the officiating is they was consistent with their awarding of the penalty kick, whether you deem them soft or necessary. Both will both have had them awarded against them.
David D just battling with Giordano.
We've still got a few minutes, Lucas. Still anything could happen. I will ask you to start your thought process of player of the match. Good luck with that one because it hasn't necessarily had quality, but it has had crucial interventions and contributions from certain players. Approaching 37.5 minutes, full time on court A. Nottinghamshire 2-0 victors over Nottingham Forest. So Nottinghamshire, whilst they're getting the job done, 2 wins from 2 today, not hitting the free-flowing heights we've come to expect. As Johan George set away. Jack Fulcher in support. Doesn't look as if Tom Burnett will feature in this fixture, which I'm slightly disappointed about. Maybe there is a reason behind that selection. And Laura Evans has to be very alert here, very late on. Always trapped up the court. Strong shouts from Alan Murray. He's a fantastic communicator. The ball's still in play because we cannot see it from our angle. And Laura Evans is going to want to keep that ball live. The ball's just completely trapped. I think they're purposely trapping it between them. Maybe so a set ball is awarded. And they'll obviously have confidence in David D's ability at those situations.
Just locked up.
Yeah. Just moves at the last second. As Johan George looks to dribble his way round. Laura Evans has to be really considerate of her contact and her aggression. We know that Alan Murray does not shy away from awarding those penalty kicks. The slightest bit of contact. If you're just joining us for the first time, both of the goals scored were via penalties. David D invites Josh Slack in, just forces it up the court. They're going to be happy to let that roll. Experience shown by Hannah Murgatroyd and Mike Coleman. Lucas, player of the match.
Very difficult, but I'd say Hannah Murgatroyd.
Spot on. That's exactly where I would have gone, but she's going to be tested later on, and that is just wide of the left-hand post. Hannah Murgatroyd once again had it covered, but to your point, Lucas, she's been fantastic. Her positioning, her placement, her dead ball accuracy, and of course she scored the penalty which put them 1-0 up. She was at fault for giving away the Manchester United's penalty, but I don't think that will bother her a great deal. She's going to be tested one last time. Josh Slack across, ricochets off the left-hand post. That was it. That was the opportunity. The best passage of play we've seen all game. David D in the centre, diagonally splitting it through to Josh Slack. The post saved Norwich City.
That was the chance to win the game.
Wow, that was an opportunity. Maybe another opportunity here. Switched by David D. Just doesn't have the angle, so Mike Coleman's able to clear it. We've seen more quality in this final 30 seconds than we've seen in the whole 40-minute fixture. Is it too little, too late for Manchester United, or is still one more chance for them to get the 3 points? Into David D, lets it roll, but doesn't have the angles to Jack Fulcher. I would love to have seen him stay in reverse there. Just that tendency, that need to drive forward, lost them the momentum. Nice switch of play. Josh Slack guides it towards Hannah Murgatroyd. He's going to follow that up. Pick off is an opportunity to force it over the line, but Hannah Murgatroyd's so strong in her defensive play. What a fantastic conclusion to this game. Just burst into life. The whistle is in the mouth of Alan Murray. He's ready to blow for full time. Manchester United knocking on the door. Into David D. Strikes towards goal, but it's not enough. Full time. Wow, what a finish, Lucas.
What a finish.
So thank you to all that have tuned in. It didn't have the fireworks we would have wanted in the 39, 40 minutes to begin with, but the final 45 seconds certainly delivered, but both have to take a share of the spoils. Let's bring up the live league table so you can see how that influences things. That does mean Norwich City aren't able to go top of the table, so they are rooted with a very similar record to that of Villa, Rockets, Lions. Manchester United have to sit behind Leeds Dynamos and Teesside Steel, but do have that 3-point buffer over their sister club, Alshenham. Thank you to all that have tuned in, to myself and Lucas Veza O'Brien. The last game of the day on Court A, I'll be calling the action of GBG Saracens versus Alshenham.